What's good, good people? It's your boy CJ Randolph, and this is the Just the Messenger podcast, where we're trying to change the world. Where we're trying to, where we are trying to change the world one message at a time. That's the second week I've done that.
Baby, I think you do it often, actually.
You're probably right. Anyway, we got some special guests today. This is actually our first time where we have 4 people sitting down, 2 beautiful couples.
Yeah, 2.
Yes. And since you've already kind of know us, who are y'all?
Who are y'all?
Well, first off, thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Whenever we get into a space with another couple doing things and professional and are looking to make the world a better place and deliver a message, is always an honor. So I appreciate
Sweet.
that.
You should have been on from the jump.
He should do the intro.
Yeah, I know. You do the intro.
Let's try this again. You introduce us.
Coming live to the stage.
I know, right?
You might know him as Joe the Policeman from the West Going Down episode of That's My Mama. Right? So my name's Antonio Timms, but most people call me Tony.
Hey, Tony.
This is my wife, Janiqua Timms. Go ahead and introduce yourself, babe. Go ahead.
My name is Jay. That's what y'all can call me.
Hey, Jay.
He already said my name, so
He said your full name. That's a beautiful name, Janiqua.
thank you. It often gets misspelled.
And she can't
It's-
stand it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your name or the spelling?
Well, my mom didn't spell it right. She was trying to be fancy, so it looks like it's spelled Jonique, and it's really Janiqua.
Okay.
Oh,
Tell me,
okay.
how is it
So-
spelled? I got to visualize this.
So it's J-O, capital N-I-C-Q-U-E.
Okay, I can see the ending.
Right.
You gotta put the
Okay.
accent on it.
But you know what? You just special. That's all.
Right, so I just say J.
You just say Jay. It's still beautiful.
And that's
though.
why I only called her coach.
Right.
I did. I
Or
asked
Elvis
them.
at the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I
ain't
asked him
messing up.
earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said, "Well, what are their names? I want to make sure." And he was like, "I can't pronounce it."
I went back to that. I went back to that first day of school when you're looking at names. You're like, yeah, there's no one where
I used to be like, that's me.
yeah, right.
Just sit there and
It's the
look at it.
reverse Key and Peele
I was
episode.
about to say that.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Janiqua Ron.
Not too much.
Did y'all see the one that said, "Look, dash like
Yes.
the dash is just a dash."
Oh, we've seen that.
Okay. Yes, I guess the reverse of that. Okay, wonderful. Intro's done. Boom. Let's move it.
Yeah. So, it's always a pleasure to have people on the podcast that have great messages. And the thing with them is this: I actually do not know y'all's story, but I see it. All right, let me explain.
Well, you saw
I
before
see.
and after, right?
No, I mean, I don't know how they met.
Okay.
I just kind of briefly got a little taste when that I guess we're gonna call that the track meet.
The track meet.
Where we were introduced to an idea of the future.
Right.
And from there, it was really just Facebook posts that I see y'all's story. That's what I mean.
You
I,
and
I-
everybody else.
I don't know y'all's story, but I see y'all's story throughout the different
Very intrigued. I haven't seen anything.
the very different aspects of pictures y'all take when you're sleeping and challenges that y'all do. It's just
Really?
it's
Oh,
absolutely.
you
I was like,
haven't-
I have to get y'all on the podcast.
We are characters.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this.
So now, can y'all tell us a little bit about y'all's story?
Sure. I think he would like to tell his story because he likes to, I call him extra,
I put a little gravy on the story.
Okay.
Throw a little season on it. You gotta
Okay,
make it
little season.
entertaining.
However,
Walrus.
I might interject if he goes a little too far.
Got you.
I'm gonna go far. She already knows.
All right. Well, the foundation and the rules have been laid out. So go ahead.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. It was the month of September.
Do you remember?
It really was.
A day I'll never. Was it? How did that song go? The Temptation. It was the middle of September.
Oh, I can't.
Papa
think
was a
of it.
Rolling Stone. Anyway,
Okay.
that ain't
I
my
know-
era. So
I understand where you were going.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one day I'm minding my own business, and I'm just living life. Gave up on love. Where like, yeah, fooey, just minding my business, right? You know what they say,
Right.
when you stop looking for it, it hits you upside the head with a skillet.
Okay.
And so I could have been driving to work. I could have been whatever it was. I think I was driving to work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this gorgeous thing just dives in my inbox.
Oh.
Slides like the home plate, just slides.
It's safe.
Dusted knees.
Slid on
And,
in.
and so I'm like, oh, what do we have here? Oh, okay. And I'm just minding my business because I ain't looking for nothing.
Right.
So I've been in the military 25 years, right?
Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
I appreciate Uncle Sam for all those benefits
Okay.
as well, and those checks. Keep them coming. And so she's asking me about, because she was in the guard. First off,
Right.
we've known each other since elementary.
Oh.
So long time known of each other, been in the same circles, whatnot.
Okay.
You know.
Interesting.
Okay.
And so when I got that inbox, she asked me about getting back in service because she was in the guard at some point and had got back out.
Right.
But since I was an officer at that point, she asked me about, OCS, Officer Candidate School, which you got to go through to get to the point where you can be an officer, be in charge, make all those decisions. You know, the
Right.
shot callers of the military, right?
Yeah.
And so she started asking questions, and so I was like, okay, well, where are you at in your life? Because we're a little long in the tooth at this point. Nobody wants to go through that type of stress in training, so I'm trying to get a good bead on where her mindset was. And so we're having dialogue, right? Vetting, so I can give the proper guidance.
Okay. Good.
And so we're moving along, and so we're talking, and so this conversation turns into a 2-hour conversation. And then it morphs into a conversation about life and in general, right? And so at this point, my eyebrow is raised. I said, oh, you special.
Oh.
I'm finna go on the attack.
Oh, let's go.
I'm just telling it how it is. She dove on my inbox, and I lifted up the gate and ushered her right on through.
In your inbox.
Okay.
Slid, dive,
All I did was
backflip.
ask a question. That is not diving into somebody's inbox.
You appeared in my inbox.
Okay.
That's the fact.
So what was the question?
It really was about OCS.
Oh, okay.
You know, because that's what he does for his job. So,
Yeah.
and of course I knew that. So I'm going straight to the source. Hey, what do you think about my options? That type of thing.
Okay.
So I was not thinking about him.
I didn't say you were.
But when you dive in somebody's inbox, that's what that implies.
It doesn't imply anything. However, somebody receives my information is how they receive it. They need to check their communication feedback.
That's what I'm talking about.
Anyway, going back to what you
Where
was
was I before I was interrupted?
The gate was lifted.
Yes,
I
you were
lift-
on the attack.
Yeah, and so we're having regular conversations. Like, okay, she's got a good head on her shoulders. She's a little sassy, but you know, she's genuine about it.
Right.
And for the first time, a woman hit my inbox and did not hit on me.
Oh,
So both eyebrows are raised at this point.
both of them.
Both of them. And you know what? I just told her, I said, it's a shame you stay in Houston because I'm planning on taking you out on a date. I just told her I was going to take her on a date.
Oh,
I ain't
you
giving no.
didn't ask her.
No, I just told her what was going to
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of not how it went. You know,
What am I missing?
I said, how are you going to do that?
Oh, yeah. She said, well, I got to plan it. She said, why you got to plan it? I'm like, well, I stay 5 hours away. You got to plan that. You don't want me just showing up at your doorstep tomorrow. Let's go.
Right.
And so I set a date time. And, you know, I drove down and, you know, took about, another 2-3 weeks before I made it down there to plan it because, you know, schedules and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I was on hurricane duty. It was one of them hurricanes, one of them many ones. I can't. They all run together.
You were 5 hours from Houston.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Where at?
Monroe, Louisiana,
Okay.
hometown.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
And so finally got to the point where I was free from orders, and then I drove down there. Hey, I don't remember where we went.
I don't either.
Like your first date, you don't remember?
We've been on so many
Oh, you
dates.
know what? We went to another broken egg.
Okay.
It was brunch. I think it was
It was brunch.
a
Another
day of
broken
a
egg.
date. Like the whole day
The
was
whole
a
day?
date. Yeah,
Okay,
something
just,
like
lots
we just
of different
meandered.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, that's nice.
And so at that, now before the 2 weeks, we talked every day.
Yeah.
Like morning, afternoon, evening, like
Yeah.
the whole day is just us talking every day.
Right.
So a lot of those conversations that most people have that are face value didn't exist because she's a deep thinker.
Yep.
I play in the deep end of the pool as well, and so so it was a lot of groundwork that was moving real fast.
Yeah.
So we was covering a lot of ground in
Right.
those couple of weeks, and so
Yeah.
before you know it, only thing that was left over to make sure I wasn't catfished. Right?
Right.
Even though I knew I ain't seen it in 10 plus years, I got to make sure these Facebook pictures ain't lying. Ain't no filters going on.
Right.
Ain't no photoshopping the love handles or nothing like that.
Right.
And you know, I don't want to pull up the nothing that's what they say on Friday. I didn't want to pull up the Freddie Jackson to make sure it was really Janet on there.
Yeah.
And so that was the last little thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And me, I take ugly pictures, not on purpose.
Okay.
You know, so I always, what's that? I undersell and overdeliver.
Okay.
You look better than you look on pictures. I know. It's a strategy.
Right.
And so, so we pulled up. I pulled up, and you know, we saw each other, and it didn't miss a beat.
Oh, wow.
Didn't miss a beat. End up holding each other, smiling and cheesing, skinning and grinning. All those old folks saying, right?
Oh, that's so
For like
good.
3 minutes straight.
I had cooked.
Oh yeah, she cooked.
Oh yeah, that was back in elementary on the playground.
Yeah, that's what those 3 weeks of talking over the phone got.
Right.
A meal as soon as I entered the door. Yeah, so I ain't leaving here. I
Wow.
like it here.
She was like, "Oh, I know how to keep you." Go ahead.
That
in
sounds
this kitchen.
right. But that sounds like a good foundation. Like if you were to kind of put together an equation of how to start a relationship, that sounds like a good way to start it because you don't have anything but words at first.
Yeah.
Right? It's just words. You're talking and you're committing time to each other, even though you're not physically in the same like area code, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a good way to start. Even if it didn't turn into something big, you probably would be like just cool friends, right?
Yeah, and the more important thing is that you communicate your expectations up front.
Oh, yeah.
Where are we going? Where are we trying to go to at some point? Because at that point, I was not trying to, what do they say these days? I'm dating with a purpose.
Oh, more like
Being
dating with
intentional.
intention.
Being intentional.
Yeah,
Being
Yeah.
intentional with your intentions.
Mhm.
And allow me to quote Bernie Mac.
Okay.
But
The
to no
great-
avail. So maybe she want to tell this next part of the story.
Oh.
Okay.
Because she don't like the way I describe it.
Oh, okay.
So after about 3 weeks of dating, well, no, about 4 or 5 weeks of dating, you know, roughly,
About 5 or 6 weeks.
she balled me up, crumpled me up, and Kobe Bryant baseline fadeaway jumped me in the trash can. And I'm
Oh,
talking
whoa.
about it didn't bounce off the backboard.
Swish?
It swished.
Steph
I'm
Curry
in the
swish?
trash can, dead bullseye. Wow.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Did
I
not
would,
see that coming.
I would like to hear this part.
Neither did I. I was Ray Charles in the trash can for you. You got the right one.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. She said
It's
yeah.
correct. I mean, it did happen. However, it wasn't, like it
Michael.
sounds because you know how you can, for one, our interaction was unexpected. I literally, hit him up in efforts to gain some information about an important decision that I was thinking about making.
Yeah.
And that morphed into an unexpected relationship where, it was no slow about it.
It was a whirlwind.
It really was.
And we couldn't do nothing about it.
And he was.
Well,
And,
so she
we were
tried
talking
to.
about marriage.
Yeah.
Like instantly almost. So I started feeling like, gosh, I have some things, that I necessarily didn't take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest. Something kind of triggered me that he said.
She's talking emotionally for the audience. She's not talking about other men. She's talking
Right.
emotionally. Let me make sure you clear that up. Because can't nobody compete with me when it comes to her.
Make that clear.
I'm telling the truth.
Anyway, no, so he mentioned, and it wasn't like it was an issue or anything. All he did was like mention having to go to court for something But as far as like something with custody or child support or something like that.
Yeah. It was child support, not
child
custody.
support.
Okay.
No, not custody. I'm sorry. So that instantly, like, it just triggered me. But it wasn't like it was. His situation was not a situation I went through in the past, but it just brought back those feelings.
Right.
And I noticed that was something that I had not dealt with, you know, and I was just like, oh my God, am I ready for, because my mind just went everywhere.
Right.
It scared me.
Right.
And the thing was, I was like, I think too ashamed to let him know what was going on, because you want to be vulnerable with people, however, but you don't know how they may receive it.
Yeah.
And because we hadn't necessarily had any type of situations yet, I really didn't know what to do with that. So I thought the best thing for me to do was to, you know, I'm like, hey, that's not fair to him to put that on him. Right. So I really was thinking about him, and that is why I made the decision to walk away, because I was just like, you know, you should come to somebody. How I was thinking about it, you should come to somebody whole, you know, and completely healed, not knowing, like, even when I did tell him about it, he did try to reassure me, like, hey, no, it's okay, we could work through this. And I just felt like, no, like, I could not do that to him. Yeah. So that was why I walked away. It wasn't a decision that I wanted to make. It was something that I felt was best for him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah. All I hear in that whole thing was you protecting him and your healing journey.
Right.
And not necessarily understanding that one thing that we talked about, which was very interesting, on like peace. I'm very much on peace. And one thing that I realized in my previous marriage was I was looking for her for peace, but she never gave it to me because she can't. And so I always was like, I'm looking for somebody that helps me maintain or even enhance my peace, helps me maintain and enhance my healing, because that is something that is between me and God, to get that true, authentic, best version of yourself. Now, you can have people around you that can help you with that, or you can have people around you that can rob you of that. And you give that up.
Emphasize the robbing part, right?
Right.
Like, they'll come with the ski mask. Give me your piece.
Yeah.
Raymond, that's you? No, this ain't Raymond.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
But did you feel like, I think you were trying to protect him, you had his best interest at heart, but did you also feel like after he responded with, it sounds like he responded with understanding, and he was like, well, we can go through this together. Did you feel like, this is something I can't go through with anyone, I have to do this myself in order to be fully whole?
I don't think it was something that I felt like I just absolutely had to do by myself. Honestly, I had never, I didn't know how to receive it. I had never had somebody tell me something like that.
Oh, really?
You know, and so I'm used to, you know, doing everything on my own, you know, being strong or what have you. And so I just, when he said it, I it's like my mind wouldn't even process it.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's what it was. So it wasn't until later, you know, as far as when we got back together and then, you know, going through this and going through that, when I realized what it was that he meant, and I can do this. You know, I can. You don't have to be perfect, because I was always like, I have to be perfect. You know, I got to have all my stuff together, and somebody loving me in spite of, I didn't know how to receive it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys like on a break?
So,
as he called it, when I uncrumpled him.
So no, let me go through the crumpling. Right, let's not skip nothing.
He wants to season this part.
I got to season it. You got to make it entertaining for the views, right? They need to clip this part. They need
but
clips.
You know what? I feel like this is a good balance, though.
No, I was
He's
literally
the
about to say
seasoning.
balance,
She brings the substance,
the emotion,
right?
So upon me being crumpled, right, I was devastated, heartbroken, right. So it took me some time to piece myself back together, for lack of a better term. So I want to say around from, I think it was mid-October somewhere around mid-October up until December, January is when I started feeling okay to get back out there, because you just want to you just go to work, come home, go to school,
right?
Emotionally distraught. You gotta work your way back into regular life mode, because I had a new normal at that point. Right. So then I had to okay, what am I supposed to do now that I don't talk to her all day every day or whatever? So by that time I went back to the streets in January. Yep. I just say
in the streets before that, because look, we was still friends on social media. So every now and again I see a little something on this story, but
until November, December.
Right.
I didn't go to January.
I said that's when I was in full swing.
All right, yeah.
All right, I can move on with my life. Let me try to be on the dating scene and whatnot, right? And so back to the streets I went.
Okay.
To get back dirty. The streets tear you up, right? So I'm ready for more tread marks, right? So I'm out there in the streets and I'm just dating and getting to know folks, and not really looking for something serious, just try to get back out there and see what happens, right? And so I want to say about the summertime. No, let me take that back. I think y'all had the winter weather.
We had the ice storm.
Y'all had the ice storm.
Oh.
Was it about February?
It was February.
It was February, right?
That was
and
It
so
was right on Valentine's Day.
yeah, because that's the first time she said she loved me.
Listen,
ooh, we got to come back to that one. Oh, man.
Put it out there.
But I want to hear y'all.
Yes, honey, yes. Yes.
I want to see this ice storm story.
Okay, so it's not really a story. It's just a part in
Yeah.
time where, I got family down here. My grandmother, some of my uncles on my father's side. My father stays in Huffman.
Okay.
Right? So I checked on them and said, you know what, let me check on her to make sure she's okay, right? Because I heard power outages galore. So I just texted her. I think I texted.
You did.
And I just said, hey, you okay? Heard his ice storms, everything good. She responded what she responded. I said, okay, no problem. Then she was like, okay, thank you for checking on me. Nobody else checked on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, right? And so moving on. So we'll have conversations a couple times, spotty here and there. She'll call out the blue and I'm like, I don't know if I need to matrix dodge this thing or what her angle is, or she's trying to reel me back in to play with my emotions or whatnot.
Right.
But it was kind of a mixed signal thing. Yeah. Not saying that was intentional, but that's how it was. That's how I was trying to map it out to be
correct,
or interpret it rather.
Yeah.
And so at some point, I think it was July, or was it June? It was June, and she calls me. So I'm like, okay, here's another one of those conversations every 2 or 3 months that we have, that goes nowhere.
Right.
And
what? You say it goes nowhere.
I mean, whenever we would talk,
it was just us conversing as friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's no rekindling. I didn't have the expectations of rekindling anything.
Okay, I got you.
Neither one of us did, honestly.
And so I think Kevin Samuels was real big at that time. He was having a lot of folks cheer him on and a lot of people ready to pitchfork and tar him at that point, right? And so we're talking about this conversation like, yo, this is some of the most entertaining stuff I've seen in a minute on YouTube. And so we're having those conversations. And so the conversation ended up talking about arranged marriages. That was the conversation we were just having.
That was after the fact.
This is the summertime.
I know, but it wasn't in June when we had that conversation.
June or July.
Okay. I'm gonna stop interrupting. Go ahead.
Thank you. And so we had that conversation, and then the conversation about intentional marriages. And there's a business aspect to being married rather than love. There's other things that count for. So we're just having an in-depth conversation, right? Just a regular conversation. And so I think it's 4th of July weekend. She's in town visiting her mother. And so she hits me again. Hey, you want to hang out? I'm halfway matrix dodging. Let me just go in here with no expectation.
Right.
Sure, let's hang out.
I'm sorry I do have to interrupt.
Hold the mic up, dear.
You're making it seem like I'm just the only person hitting you up.
No,
it was a mutual thing.
I'm telling the story as is. I'm about to say, hey, I accepted the invitation to hang out. Because you did call me because you told me you were in town.
Every interaction is she hit me up. I'm saying you would hit me up too.
Okay, give those accounts.
I remember one time you were at AT and you hit me up because you sent me a picture of yourself in uniform.
Yeah, I said come save me from this heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So
Okay.
Right. So it's a mutual hitting up as friends.
Right. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
That's fine, babe. You.
Don't try to make it seem like I was chasing.
I'm not. I'm just telling the story.
Because I was not. But go ahead.
Tell me what I've said that was.
I just wanted that out there.
That's fine. Get your message.
Okay.
You want another message?
You good.
Get you another one.
You good.
Okay.
Okay. I won't interrupt no more now. For real.
All right.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It's been 30 minutes already.
Oh wow.
Really? Let me see if the boys want to eat.
Thank y'all for joining in and tuning in to this absolutely dynamic and hilarious couple as they tell us their journey and their messages that they have for us. So I hope that you tune in next week for part 2 of part 1, and then also the weekend after when we continue in their journey. This is the Just a Messenger podcast, where we're just trying to change the world one message at a time. What's that message? The message of love, the message of hope, the message of joy, and the message of peace. And until next time, selah.